The high will become the Highlander will rise, which would be the one. There could only be one. They're talking about one consciousness, one world, separation from the magnitude of different species and all to one Godhead that they're talking about. This is in all the texts talk about a great gathering. That's what when Reverend Phil Valentine used to put together his gathering of the masters. That concept came from a future time when there will be a people in the future that will gather together. The Europeans know it, the Jews know it, that's trying to steal our legacy. You see what I'm saying? And as a result, they were looking for, we said, well, what is this great gathering? This great gathering is none other than all forms of conscious black people who basically rose up in mass, and in mass, when we're talking about the conscious mass, which is 0 point something, we're not talking about the masses of the people, but who rose up around the late 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Now, we've always had conscious settlements, you know, from Marcus Garvey. We can go back to the 1800s, they had these particular aspects, but we've always had those, but whenever we reach back into classical antiquity, we're talking about bringing ancient Hemmitt, bringing other sciences, ancient Sumeria, different things that we didn't talk about in the 60s and the 70s. They knew then that intelligentsia, they knew that conscious community was those particular people. So you're asking, when is this great day or when are these things? They know that it is these particular conscious people that we are. And so it doesn't matter about how many people they kill, how many black people out here that's going through the trouble. There is a conscious group. Now, we got our problems. We got grave problems as conscious people, but then again, that's prophesized. Then again, that would be that way. It stands the reason that we'd have problems. We are people that's coming out of a massacre of the mind, the body, and the soul. So naturally, we would have these problems, but nevertheless, we are still conscious despite of that. So whether we like it or not, this thing is going on. You just have to look and see what it is. We take it for granted. Some guys say, well, how do you know I'm elevating? I say, well, look, all those people out there that's walking past by the thousands that don't know nothing. I'm talking about black people. One person that knows something means that you are an advanced being. So so a lot of times we have been trained to look at science fiction, to look for something miraculous, and it's all based on the consciousness and what level of consciousness there is. And they know it. Even I got to come to Dr. York's defense on this, because it was the ADL who tipped the government off, or tipped the police off when they gave some police the arresting officers, the ones who went down to Eatonton and arrested him. And they gave them whatever plaque, or they gave them they rewarded the policemen or these arresting officers. They had this big ceremony for them for going down to Eatonton and arresting Dr. York. So despite whatever theological differences we might have as black people, or philosophical differences, when you have that kind of people making some type of painstaking effort to go down and arrest a black person, you know it's something. And the arresting officers, when they were getting whatever they get their awards, they said, listen, we want to thank the ADL because we could not do it if it wasn't for the ADL, with the Anti-Defamation League, and the Jews who gave us the information to go down and arrest Dr. York. You see, they said we couldn't have done it without them. So we're talking about this particular concept of people stealing our legacy as the ones, we're the ones. Why? Because we don't know no poor Jews. These people are rich. You see what I'm saying? And we are still struggling. So there's some things that just go without saying. We're the original people. So, we know we're the ones. That's, as conscious people, but still yet we got people stealing the legacy. You see. and it's still ongoing. So don't be discouraged or disenfranchised. We're going to go into some things. We got. I'm still doing the research, but the information I'm doing now is going so far into the spirit until it's going down to just the subtle things. It's not the major things that the ego likes to hear, all the major scientific things. What we're dealing with now is the realm of the Great Mother who took over completely. This thing is now run by the feminine principle completely. You see what I'm saying? And as a result, it's like a mother. The things they talk about as innate things is no different than an innate thing between a mother and a child. And this is the way we, to get what you want. So we're going to go into a lot of things now. Principles to enrich your life for the time we have left. There's things you can do to enrich your life every day, or what you want, or things for health, things for remedy. But these particular things are not coming in major things that you have to buy. It's dealing with things on the Great Mother. It's just like your mother is dealing with things on the Great Mother level, whereas your connection with her is stuff that is very simple, but it's real sublime. And it's going to be the hardest thing to do because at this particular time, you can't front and say, I'm the great master. And you can convince everybody out here how astute you are and how much spiritual you are. You can't front that way because it's dealing with the inner self, and you only know whether you fucked up or not. You and that particular Great Mother, we're going to go into this thing. This thing is going down now to the point where, as I'm telling you, things are working, that it's real subtle. It's real subtle. One of the entities is Sri Lakshmi, or Sri Lakshmi. She's a deity over wealth and prosperity. And when she comes into the kingdom, like she came into the kingdom of Vishnu, which is one of her counterparts. This is East India. And she's also from a Heru, Venus, Aphrodite, Anana, Astarte, Urzuli. But in this particular case, the counterpart of this wealth, you need to, you see, these things are almost like formulas. And although she is the other goddesses that I talked about, and like a lot of you all like to go and deal with your tradition that you into, because we don't like change, so you will take the equivalent of Heru, because some people into the Hemmitt, some people are into the voodoo, and you'll take Urzuli, you'll take Yeminya, and she's all of that, but when you call on them in those other traditions, there might be other attributes that she does in those traditions. But in this particular case, when we talk about wealth and prosperity, you need to call on Lakshmi or Sri Lakshmi. As a matter of fact, they call currency in some of the parts of India Lakshmi. How much Lakshmi do you have? So Vishnu is a Heru type of goddess that she comes in contact with. But when she's with that Vishnu, his kingdom is prosperous. Whenever she leaves, the kingdom starts to fall. Now, we talk about this because there's some stuff you need to get. She has an incense called Lakshmi drops. It's a little box. I don't know. You go to East Indian places, I don't know, but you can find this stuff in New York. And it's called Lakshmi drops. And you burn those incense, and the money starts to come. I bought some Lakshmi drops and lit the incense, and people start calling on the phone, hey, I'm going to send you some money Friday. You know. I should have asked. I don't know why I didn't bring nothing to put on this damn table, because I got my love fund bucket, but I'm seeing her name, and y'all, okay, Lakshmi now. So let these motherfuckers walk out here and don't get up off some stuff now. I got my love fund bucket now. But anyway, you call on Lakshmi or Sri Lakshmi. So these are components of the Great Mother, the Great Mother, and different things. So we're going to go into this whole Venus thing because this is very important. is going to, and we're going to break this thing down so you can see that this, what we talk about is the same Mayatean principle. We're going to break down this whole Venus transient thing, and it's very important. So we're talking about a phase or a realm of the Great Mother that is taking over. You see what I'm saying at this particular time. Fortunately for the black male, and I will explain this, that the reason why you are locked down and you are on lockdown simultaneously with all the hells that your woman catch, and you catch hell in a grave manner, in a massive manner, is because you're the only human on the planet that is equally woman. And I'm not talking about homosexuality, but I'm talking about equally feminine. Equally feminine. You're the only one. So in so many words, and we'll go into this particular aspect in a few minutes, but so not only is it this realm, this feminine realm that's come in, it's the feminine realm of both the black man and the black woman, because deeper studies have come out about Isis and Osiris, or Aset and Osar. We notice have this in India, and these deeper studies, like the book, The Passion of Isis and Osiris. What's the name? I got that woman's name. She used to, she's dead now, but before she died, she was with Hillary Clinton and them. What's that woman's name? Jean Wolfe. She was one of Hillary Clinton's astrologers. So, you know, these people, you know, there ain't no president sitting up in there that ain't in a cup. She's she's the wife of Robert Masters, and Robert Masters is the one that wrote the book, The Goddess Sekhmet. Now, The Goddess Sekhmet that book was out of print for years. That book just came back in 2003 or 2002. I think it came back in 2003. So Robert Masters' book, The Goddess Sekhmet, is back out. This is his wife. She wrote a book called The Passion of Isis and Osiris. And the concept here is that Aset and Isis and Osiris are nothing but twin halves of the same entity. The same entity. And in all, from Yoruba, Voodoo, they always have the twins. They also have a twin called the Akalion. So what we're talking about here is at this particular time, you're going to have to fight hard to try to understand your species have, even if you don't have a mate, you're going to have to try to fight hard to understand that you are all one. And so these gender roles are going to have to go to an androgynous level. I'm not talking about on the sexual realm. We're talking about mind here. We're talking about advanced esoteric and metaphysics. This is what I teach. So we're not talking about the sexual aspect, but we are talking about a god called, the goddess Shiva. And you know, Shiva is nothing but a form of Osiris and Horus. But there's an entity called Shiva Hermaphrodite. So we're talking about, and they show pictures of them, both male and female, Shiva with one breast, and on one side is a female and one side is a male. Well, that's nothing but his mate, Shakti or Parvati, when they make a sacred union through heterosexual sex, but they come together in unison as one entity. So you're going to have to, in order for you to become whole, you're going to have to take, if you're a male, you're going to have to take search for your female counterpart within you. And if you are a female, you're going to have to search for your masculine counterpart, which is in you, because all of these are expressions of the goddess. You understand where I'm coming from here? We're talking about advanced occultism. We're not talking about your religiosity. You can't trace your shit back, but 2,000 years, you're out of the loop. You see what I'm saying? So this don't include no Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, although, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tell you that you're hey, you need to abandon that shit. We don't bullshit. I'll sit up here and tell you that lie. Come on. It's just like mathematics. You find out that stuff is nothing but a derivative of something ancient, you need to get with the ancient shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we give you too much excuses and you'll go back here, you know what I'm saying? And all that stuff is male chauvinist murder cults. You see what I'm saying? And these are the worst ones, especially Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. You see what I'm saying? These things, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so, you know, I'm just trying to tell you these are nothing but fragments or edited pieces of a greater mystery. And so if you, now if you want to feel good about yourself and you want to just mess around and feel good about yourself and you can tell yourself all this stuff here, you know, and you go back there and pray, or you don't eat no pork or whatever type thing you don't do to get your whatever, then you can play around that way. But if you're serious about getting to the other side, then you need to